evening, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to do it. Just to get attention. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Costa Hollywood Beach Resort here in Hollywood Beach. And I'm Rabbi Laredo, and here is Gedale Fenster. Put your hands together for Gedale. We're going to thank all of our sponsors. Bear with me. Thank God the popularity has grown tremendously, and we have 20 sponsors for tonight's class. Ken Yerbu, this is all in Gedale's merit. So we want to thank all of our sponsors. We're going to try to do this as fast as possible, yet as meaningful as possible, because everyone has a special request and special blessing. Just to make a note that we are going to be having here in the Miami Torah Center high holiday services for Rosh Hashanah all-inclusive, as well as Yom Kippur. So you can go to miamitorahcenter.org and see further details for that, with catering from Kosher Cuisine, the Dahan family. Thank you very much. Okay, tonight's class is called Elul, Time to Get Out of Your Comfort Zone. So class sponsor number 1 is Esther Rand for Refuah Shlema for Levi Yitzchak ben Italeh. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous for the speedy recovery of Yecheskel Shraga ben Elisheva Chana. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous for the Zechut for Shalom Bayit for Yeshua Yitzchak ben Sarah Friedel and Batya bat Esther Leah to have clarity, peace, health, and happiness together with their children. Refuah Shlema also for Chaya Fruma bat Perel Miriam and Malka and David Ari Halevi ben Frida for all of Yisrael to have a Shana Tova and Yeshuot. Amen.
Amen.
Juliet Zilpa Rachel Naneshveli and Natan ben Inessa Borochov in memory of Ben Sion ben Tamara. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous with the request of Hashem that all of his children will be matzliach in yeshiva this year, and that their family should be matzliach in making aliyah soon as possible. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous dedicated in memory for the yard site of Eliezer Nachum Chaim ben Rachel, and may his merit bring down comfort zones and reach major breakthroughs for spiritual, financial, emotional growth. Amen.
Amen.
Yafa M in memory of Clara Batrita and sponsored by Malka Bat Naomi and for good health, and for Maya Bat Gita, and also Eliana Naomi Bat Sarah, and Chaya Rachel Bat Sarah, and Yafa Bat Ora, and Sarah Adina Bat Chava Yenta, and to find their Zilugim. Amen. Edmund and Zoya Hakimian for Hakarat Atov to Hashem for guiding them to the right direction in all aspects of their lives, and having the privilege to hear Gedale, and thanking Gedale for adding this perspectives to their life and completely changing because of your words. And one day, our day is incomplete without listening to your wise words. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Anonymous for the Refuah Shlema of Jacob and Esther, Frida bat Sarah, and Abraham ben Sarah. Amen.
Amen.
Susan Shina for Refuah Shlema for Leah Malka bat Simcha Basa. Amen.
Amen.
Good health and happiness and success and parnasah for Yakot bat Reina, Bruno ben Mina, and Salomon ben Yakot, and Rachel bat Yakot, and Rachel ben Chana, and Abigail bat Rachel, Ruth bat Rachel, and Esther bat Rachel, and Miriam bat Rachel. And may God give Gedale strength to continue these classes. They feed my soul and have changed my life. Amen.
Wow.
Okay, Idan, in honor of Gedale, may he continue to bring Bina Dat to all Am Yisrael. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous for the merit for Miriam Bat Chaya to have a Ben Zachar, and in honor of Gedale. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous in honor of Gedale. Amen.
Amen.
We have another one of those coming up. Anonymous for the Refuah Shlema and clarity for our son Shlomo ben Bracha. May he believe in Hashem with love for his parents, from his parents, and in honor of his mother's birthday. Amen.
Amen.
Shamayim Topper in memory of his brother Shlomo Yeshaya Baruch ben Liba, and in honor of Gedale for spreading Torah and the light in this world and helping those in dark times find light in their lives. Hashem should continue to give you strength to continue to spread Torah and light all over the world. Amen.
Amen.
Hillel W. in honor of the new baby boy that he just had born today, and for his wife Malka Bela Bat Manya to have a Refuah Shlema and a recovery, and Zat Hashem their son Brit Milah on time next week. Amen.
Amen.
Batya in honor of Jessica and Dov Cram's 19th anniversary, and the community of listeners, and in honor of the community of listeners of Efrat. And they all look forward to meeting you, Zat Hashem, soon. Amen.
Amen.
Anonymous in honor of Gedale. Amen.
Amen.
Also for Klal Yisrael Shidduchim, Refuah Shlema Shalom Bayit Navi Mashiach. Amen. And last but not least, Yigal Shalom and Naaman Freddy in honor of their 5th anniversary. Mazal Tov, many more happy years, health, success, many more years, and in honor of Gedale. Amen.
Amen.
Next week, Mexico.
Yeah. Next week, first of all, I want to thank everybody for. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. First, I want to thank everybody for the unbelievable sponsors. We are a nonprofit. Don't get the wrong idea. The money's going straight into Rabbi Laredo's the funding. May Hashem bless him with everything. I'm deeply honored by all the unbelievable amount of donations. It's unbelievable. I mean, I think I could just go home with all these blessings. I don't think I need to do much. So next week's class, we're going to be in Mexico City. We have 2 events in Mexico City. We have a singles event, and then we have another event for a general event in a hotel in Mexico. Whoever's going to be there, we'll put the postings. So again, I also want to say thank you for my wife for giving me the strength to be able to do this and giving me the time and everything. All right, today's class is going to be on Elul. Elul is obviously who doesn't know, Elul is a Jewish month right before Rosh Hashanah. This is the time called getting out of your comfort zone. In Florida, either Elul gets you out of your comfort zone or hurricanes get you out of your comfort zone. You can spend your time on watching cones, or you can spend your time praying to God. That's the key we have to recognize. Some people, all day long, they're watching cones. Other people, they're praying to God. So that's the one thing also that may Florida be safe from this hurricane. Even though I'm in the adjusting business, may nobody get hurt, and everybody should have success in that one. So today's class, we're going to do an amazing class on getting out of your comfort zone. The books that we're going to reference today, one is called Rabbi Nachman's Restore My Soul. Another one is The Garden of Knowledge by Rabbi Rush, Likutei Moharan, and also the Aleph Bet book by also Rabbi Kramer's books. These are all books you can buy on Amazon.com, etc. This is where we're going to get the information from. So in life, whatever doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. We need to understand that. If a person is being challenged in one way of his life, that's where the change happens. It could be that we all have different challenges in our life. Some of us are in recovery. Some of us have a problem with our ego. Some of us have a problem with food. Some of us have a problem with something. Everybody's got a struggle in their life, no matter who they are, depending on what their soul rectification is. So a lot of our struggles, if our sages say, if we really want to know what is your purpose in this world, is look at your struggle. Look at what you're struggling with, and that usually is where the gold is. That basically at the other line of that struggle in life is usually the gold in life. Obviously, my struggles were gambling addictions. My struggles was too much impulses. When I worked on those things, another life showed up for me. So a person should always have hope that if he's struggling, just like if you would go to a football team or you would go to watch anything in life, whenever a person double teams a specific player, they double team him because he has the potential to score. If somebody's getting double teamed in life, a specific area of his life, that is exactly the potential that person has. So recognizing that every single obstacle is really tailor-made for you. We shouldn't look, that's why the ultimate knowledge that we said this week is recognizing that we don't know anything. How do you know? The more you recognize you don't know anything, the more you'll be able to pass these obstacles. The more you question why things are happening, the more we get stuck there. That's the concept of basic Emunah that we have. What is the message of Elul? Obviously, we're in Rosh Hashanah, our whole years are on the line. It's obviously whatever a person prepares is what he's going to get. So this is a time, Elul is coming Sunday, Monday. It's a time to challenge yourself. It's a time to get out of your comfort zone. There's no question for me to have 800 classes today. Believe me, I don't even know what a comfort zone is anymore. Because I'm forced always, okay, I got to do a class tomorrow. No, I want to relax. No, I got to do a class. So how can I relax? So I'm always out of my comfort zone. I don't even know what comfort is anymore. I don't even know what that word is anymore. But I recognize being out of my comfort zone has led me to other areas of my life where I'm out of my comfort zone. And really that's where all growth happens. All growth happens out of your comfort zone. We need to understand that. We need to understand what does your Creator want from you in these 30 days. Rav Nachman says in lesson 46, and again, Rav Nachman clearly said in his book that It's not that just Jews need me. He says the whole world needs me. So a lot of times I own a rehab and a detox program. I use these same teachings to speak to everybody because there's really no difference. It's the same message. We're all souls. We all have obstacles. We all have shells. Remember, the quality of the fruit in life has to have a shell. Anything good in life has to have a shell. Because if not, like we said before, we would take it for granted. So these shells, these obstacles that we go through are part of our creation. So Rav Nachman says in Lesson 46, soul sacrifice is something every single person has to do. An example of this is even giving charity. When you're giving charity to somebody, you're sacrificing your soul. We know the person's money sometimes is his life. When he gives away his money, it's like he's sacrificing his soul. In other words, a person has to recognize that that a person's soul sacrifice is the reward that you get. It's not the results that you think you get the results. It's not what you get in life, it's who you become. A very important message. Your Creator wants to know how much do you struggle, how much do you attempt to fight something, how much are you working on something. That's called soul sacrifice. We already spoke about talking about comfort zones. How come only 20% of the Jews stayed in Egypt? 20% got out of Egypt. Why did 80% of the Jews stay in Egypt? Because of the disease of comfort. So there was two factors that our sages say that basically tells us why they stayed in Egypt. What were the two factors that they didn't have? They didn't have faith in themselves that they can get out. That's the beginning of everything. And they didn't have what? A desire to get out. These are the two factors in our lives. We all are stuck in Mitzrayim. We all have a Mitzrayim in our lives. Depending on who you are, you have some kind of Mitzrayim. It could be your children, it could be your wife, it could be your mother-in-law, it could be your work, it could be whatever it is. You're stuck in some kind of Mitzrayim in your life. And what your Creator wants to do is see how much do you want to get out of Mitzrayim. How badly, but what kind of effort would you put in? That's why if a person recognizes, if he has desire and he has faith, he will break any wall. But if he doesn't want it enough, or he doesn't believe it enough, he's going to get stuck in Mitzrayim. So that's where the majority of the issues are today. People need more ratzon, need more will. It seems to me that it's easy to be in comfort than to put the effort in. Like I said, many times I've woken up where I didn't want to wake up. But I recognize that I can't live my life depending upon how I feel every time I want to do something. So when I recognize that I do things, if something's bothering me, I do it opposite. If I'm tired, I'll wake up with energy. I'll do exactly the opposite of what my evil inclination wants to do to me. Because we know that the evil inclination wants to do nothing but keep you in comfort, wants you to be hesitating, wants you to go to sleep. Just take it easy. So you have to recognize in our life that whatever your challenge is, whatever your hesitation is, you have to do the opposite. Our sages say that it takes 40 days to break any habit. If a person has a hard time getting out of bed for 40 days, he has to run out of bed for 40 days straight. It takes 40 days, our sages say, to break any habit. If a person is sluggish, he has to start running. Whatever a person's struggle is, if he's a procrastinator, for 40 days, he has to do the complete opposite. And technically now, we have these 40 days coming up. We have these 40 days starting Sunday where a person can have a goal. You are meant to hit goals in life. But you have to recognize, whatever your weakness is, whatever it is, you have to go the other way dramatically. With all in. We speak about many times. What's the difference between somebody being interested and somebody being committed? What's the difference between having faith and having trust? We speak about faith is, I believe things will work out. But only trust will convert that into action. So what we have to do is we have to gain trust in ourselves, and whatever a person's habit is for 40 days, he has to recognize 40 days can start Sunday into Yom Kippur. You can actually break decrees 40 days. You want to show up to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur with a smile right before they're giving you the sentence for the year. We don't want to show up, what time is it 10 days? You don't want to show up like that. You want to show up prepared. You want to show up prepared to win. So very, very important, the preparedness. We go to Ukraine, we go to Uman for Rosh Hashanah. And the whole obstacles is the preparation to get there. So remember, pick something that's bothering you these 40 days, and our sages say, do the complete opposite. It's going to bother you, it's going to annoy you, but we're not interested in what? We're not really interested in feelings. We're interested in what? Behaviors. One of the students came up to Rab Natan, the main disciple, and he spoke to him about all the dreams he was having. And he says, Rabbi, what do all these dreams mean? Rab Natan told him, I'm not interested in what you're doing when you're sleeping. I'm interested in what you're doing when you're awake. What are the dreams going to do for you? What are you doing when you're awake? Anybody can sleep. Dreams, this means, it means that, it means this, it means that. What are you doing when you're awake? That is the message for Elul. We have to wake up. We have to be ready in 40 days, because let me tell you, 2019 was a tough year. And who knows if maybe we would have put a little bit more effort last year. We would have gotten a little bit changed. We would have put just a little bit more effort. This is something that Rab Nachman says all the time, that we're going to constantly, our level in Elul is a concept of constantly going in a zigzag in life. Spirituality is not a way up. It's a zigzag. One day you're up, one day you're down. One day you're up, one day you're down. It's very similar to working out. You lift a weight, you have to put it down. But what are you going to do? You're going to stay there and put the weight down? You got to lift it up again. That's your life. If you're down, there's no other option but to come up. And if you're up, recognize you're not going to be there forever. You're not going to be in that level forever. Once you start recognizing that there's days where you're going to be waking up with tremendous energy, and there's days that you're not even going to want to move. It's almost like being on a treadmill. One day the speed is 3 miles, level 3. Another day is level 10, and you got to do the same amount of effort. So the days that are level 10, we have to push a little harder. The days that are level 3, enjoy the day. That is your life. It's not to get in despair. It's not to get depressed. It's to know the rules of spirituality. Why does it have to be like that? Why do I have to go through all this ups and downs that's driving people crazy? Even people in recovery. Up one day they feel great, the next day they don't want. It's like nothing happened. It's because sometimes, unfortunately, we develop arrogance, and we start thinking, look at my efforts. So when you fall on the floor, you recognize you're nothing without Hashem. You're nothing without Hashem. It puts you in a vulnerable position to recognize you're powerless. See why you have to fall? When you fall, you recognize, I thought maybe I was the one succeeding in this area of my life. But when you fall, you start recognizing you're completely powerless. So ultimately, the fall is good, because you start recognizing your Creator, which is the whole purpose of the world, is to recognize everything that's happening for it. So we shouldn't be upset about the falls. We're going to talk about that concept between Adam. Because most people, when they fall, what do? They hide. They hide. You have a fall? Who can I blame? I don't want to think about the fall. Just get me out of my head. That is called hiding. Which is the opposite is what? Taking responsibility. We need to recognize a person is created in this world in order to get to know his Creator. He has to spend time getting to know his Creator. And usually the cries from the heart will come when he's in a state of a yeridah, when he's in a state of a fall. During the night is where most things happen. The vessels that are being prepared are being prepared at night. So Rab Nachman says it takes great battle and struggle to deal with this. Who has the head to go through all these ups and downs? I'd rather quit. Person could say, what do I need all these ups and downs? What do I need all this? Because if you don't have the ups and downs, then you live a life of anxiety, you live a life of depression, you live a life of no meaning, and welcome to today's world. If we don't have spirituality, what do we have? We get stuck in pain, we don't understand it, and we numb. So it's very important to understand that. And he's saying here, the most important thing, he's saying that nobody your Creator does not give you an obstacle that you cannot handle. Right away, that has to be your belief. If your belief is, I can't take this obstacle, it's too much for me, right away you have the wrong belief system. Because why do people shut down and why do people become overwhelmed? Because they think they got too much. So it could be, God forbid, the worst thing in the world. It could be trauma. It could be, God forbid, abuse. It could be whatever you name it. We need to understand. If my main belief is that your Creator does not give you anything you can't handle, then I have to shut any kind of despair out of my mind. If He's giving you that obstacle, it's because you can handle it. You just have to sacrifice more. You just have to push a little bit more. That's a very important concept. Because why else would I shut down in my life? Why else would I quit? Why else would I be sad and depressed? It's because I believe that I got too much. It's a very important concept. We're too focused on what? Too focused on what we're going through instead of where we want to go. That's what happens. People are focused too much on what they're going through, not on where they want to go. So that's what Rav Nachman says. Do not believe that something that came to you by accident. Nothing comes to you by accident. But what happens is the pain gets worse, like we speak all the time. The attempt to escape pain is what's causing more pain. Very important. I just have the issue. But the problem is I'm escaping the pain. Escaping the pain is causing more pain. If I just dealt with the issue, where it would be a trauma, or where it would be a marital spouse, or whatever I'm dealing with in my life, then I can deal with the issue. But if I'm attempting to escape pain, what am I doing? I'm mimicking Adam Harishon when he's hit. When God says, Ayeka, where are you? Where are you? He hit. He sinned and he hit. That is the problem today. Because it's like breaking the window and then hiding. That is where the dinim come. The dinim come to a person, God forbid. Judgments come to a person when he hides. We recognize, we're going to speak about, that when a person falls, he actually, when he goes up, he goes back on another level. Completely higher level than before. He becomes a new person. But what happens when we hide, we stop the growth process. And we mimic exactly what happened with Adam Harishon. Very important. You're mimicking that situation. So we don't want to hide. We want to take responsibility. You have a rough day, you got to get up in the morning, and you have to address those issues. If we look at sports today, when a team gets blown out in sports, what do they do the next day? They watch game film. You could say, what are you watching the movie? What are you watching yesterday's game when you lost? What's the point? Obviously, it's to show where do we need to make adjustments. When we have days where we call it quits, where are we making adjustments? What's the triggers? Rav Nachman already told us. He told us black and white that the main cause of sexual promiscuity today is from sadness. Bottom line. If a person wants to have a spiritual vessel, clean vessel, he has to fight sadness. If he fights sadness, God will protect you himself. He says in lesson 189, He will protect you himself. You will have a guaranteed protection. But where's all the yush? It's in sadness. We need to understand that. So our job is to really change our perception in life. And this is what he says here. The same is true of prayer. Initially, there are many obstacles in prayer. But when a person starts, everything in the beginning begins with obstacles, begins with confusions, begins with actions. The word tehillah means to praise, and the same word tahala means confusion, is right there. That means the minute a person starts praying, right away they confuse it. Why do they confuse them right away? It's because if you start praying from your heart, you know what's going to happen? You're going to bring down shefa, you're going to bring down abundance, you're going to bring down blessing. So the evil inclination does not want that. So what does he do? He puts you in Tokyo, you're focused on Hurricane Irma, I don't even know what the name of this one is. You have hurricanes in your head when you're praying. Cones and lines and media channels. You have channel 7 on your head, you have channel 10 on your head, anything but your heart. I guarantee you when people pray, they're going to be thinking more about channel 7, the cones, than they're going to be thinking about prayer. That's what happened to them. We lost the art. And Rav Nachman says here something very deep. And he says the biggest problem that we have is our questions about our Creator. Does it really make a difference if I pray? Does it really make a difference if I do this? That's a klipa. A klipa questions, does it really make a difference? What's the point? Everybody, no, this guy doesn't do it, and he makes money. He doesn't do it, and he makes money. He's successful, and he doesn't do it. That's where he gets you. Once he gets doubt in your head, there goes everything. There goes everything. It's very important to be committed. Because Rav Nachman's telling you, once he puts the kushot in your head, then all of a sudden what happens? Your heart's cooled off. If I have a question, does my prayer really work, or is it a waste of time? I tried it already, it doesn't work. Already that question is in my mind, I lost the battle. Rav Nachman tells us, you have to actually scream. And he says, how do you have to scream in prayer? He says, imagine you were in the middle of the ocean and nobody was there. Not even FEMA. You're stuck in the middle of the ocean and nobody can hear you. That is the intensity, Rav Nachman says, that you have to put in your prayers. You have to pretend nobody can see you. I know if I'm in the middle of the ocean, the rabbis will find me. I'm sure the rabbis will find me. But imagine if you're in the middle of the ocean, that's exactly how you have to scream. That's the level that he wants your intensity. Because ultimately, what does he want from you? The cry from the heart. And Rav Nachman's telling here, he has to cry out loudly from his heart to his Father in heaven, and it says God will hear your voice. And what happens? All the kushot will be collapsed. That's why the word here, Shema Adonai Yikra, is the same word, the same letters as questions, doubts. When you scream from your heart, God will hear your word. Kusha, questions, that eliminates that. You almost have to put yourself in a position to scream it out, where you feel it or your intensity. That is what he wants from you. He wants you to literally pretend you are in the middle of the ocean and there's nobody there and you have nothing else that nobody can save you. What happens today if a person got swallowed by Yoda? What would he do? What's the Wi-Fi password? Do you have a better room? I'm comfortable in the whale. He gets comfortable. This is what he would ask. He would ask for the Wi-Fi password. What are we commanded to do when we get swallowed up in life? Scream. Scream to get out. Scream to be saved. Scream to be saved from my addiction. Not saved. What kind of food are you serving? What's the Wi-Fi password? What's the menu for today? That means we get comfortable in that situation. That's lesson 46. And he says, and this is why the Baal Shem Tov says, if you recognize today, how come we have such a problem with motivation today? Right? The Baal Shem Tov says something very simple. That the first arousal from God that comes to a person comes to him for free. Let's say a guy was all of a sudden, he had nothing to do with spirituality. He had nothing to do, not that he wanted to do it or anything. And let's say all of a sudden he hears a video. Remember, he didn't earn that. And all of a sudden for 3 days, all of a sudden he hears a video, he gets super inspired and he gets the same light as he would be doing this for a while. What happens to him? 3 days. He gets like a free preview for 3 days. This is how you feel. Many times I see people, they get excited. Where are they? But after 3 days, you know what happens? The energy gets taken away from you. You get inspiration for 3 days, and then, okay, this is what it tastes like. This is what your life could be. This is what it is to meditate, do his bodedut. You feel amazing, and then I'm taking it away from you. Now you have to earn it. See why there's so confusion? People say, I don't understand. I feel good. Yes, now I don't feel the same. You have to earn that feeling. You want to feel tranquility in your life? Everybody wants anxiety-free life. You think anxiety-free comes free? It's called, you have to pay a tax. It's called the anxiety-free life. You know what that tax? There's a tax. How do you pay that tax? That tax requires learning bitachon. That tax requires doing his bodhidut, that's tracks required, watching your emotions. It doesn't just come to you like that. You have to pay the price. You have to pay a tax. So the Baal Shem Tov says, anything you get in life, spiritually, you will get a 3-day preview. After the 3-day preview, 4-day preview in the beginning, it's taken away from you. Now, earn it. Earn it. Imagine the guy is a janitor, he becomes a CEO, all of a sudden he didn't do anything and becomes the CEO of the company. And then he tastes what it tastes to be like a CEO. But now then he has to earn it. That's the price we have to pay. That's the way it has to be, because otherwise, again, you wouldn't struggle. You need to struggle to get that. Reb Nachman says something very beautiful concerning Teshuvah also. When a person begins to serve God, many times if you see employees in Miami specifically, there's resume versus what they put on the resume and what you get. The resume, this guy is a CEO of the year, employee 100, but then once the guy starts working, what happened to the guy in the resume? You look for the guy, where is he? The same thing. So what happens? Many times you have a salesman. I could sell this for you, I could sell this for you, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, ba 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 ba. And then once he starts, you get fallen expectations. Correct? So our Creator does it the opposite. How does he do it? Reb Nachman says, when a person begins anything new, begins serving God, the Holy One says, I know your desire is to serve me. I know you want to serve me. I know you want to get closer to me. But what guarantee do I have that you're not going to be here tomorrow? How do I know you're going to be here tomorrow? Let's say all of a sudden I give you light. I give you tranquility. I give you shalom bayit. What am I guaranteed you're going to be here tomorrow? The same thing with an employee. How do I know you're going to be here tomorrow if I give you this? So what does he say? What assurances am I going to have that you won't leave me? I know people that have started spiritual. I said, what happened? Why did you leave? I got an email. Or they cancel the classes, they stop doing this, they stop praying, they stop putting on tefillin. What happened? Why didn't you cancel ESPN? Why didn't you cancel Netflix? Why did you cancel the Holy Spirituality? Figure cancel everything. But the minute people what do? I'm canceling my spirituality. I'm not doing it. You understand? This is human nature. It's like we're punishing God for a reason. They throw it out the window. I see people, I study. I see people go in and out of the classes. In the group, out of the group. In and out of the group. I said, am I charging you for it? Why do you keep on going in? Put me back on the list for me. I said, why are you getting out? I didn't have a good day. So why you can't just have delayed gratification? You're just jumping in and out. When days are good, put me on the class. When days are not good, I don't want to be in the class. Well, what are you saying? You're saying that you don't want to deal with concealment. Again, I used to do this. This was my life. My life was, I had a good day, I would pray, I would do this, rough day, forget it. Checked out. But what are we showing? We're showing that we don't like concealment. We only want light. So Reb Nachman says, he says, what guarantee that you're going to be here tomorrow, you're not going to leave me? If so, draw closer to me now with your will. And how can I reveal to you everything about the company? How can I reveal to you everything that I know? Rather do this. Start showing a love for me in the present situation. So a person first has to say, thank you in this present situation. If you really want, if an employee, logically, an employee will stay with you when business is rough, Kol v'chomer, he's going to stay with you when business is good. But if he's not going to stay with you when business is rough, then what do you need him for? What do you need that person for? So Hashem is telling us here, how can I start revealing everything to you? I need to see your simple simplicity. I need to say you want to pray to connect, not just to get. Serve me with simplicity, without any kind of sophistication. After you've done this for some time, I will then believe you and reveal to you the reason behind everything that you have in your life. First, he wants you to say thank you right now when you're in the toughest position in your life. So wake up like Faith it till you make it. People say, fake it till you make it? No, we have to say, faith it till you make it. Believe it till you make it. That means do what you can. That's why the reward is so big for saying thank you to Hashem, thank you to your Creator, when you're in the worst conditions. When you do that, you're basically proving, I'm in. I'm saying thank you right now and I'm in the pits. If I'm saying thank you right now and I'm in the pits, obviously I'm going to say thank you when things are good. But the reverse is no purpose for the reverse. So that's why people are getting tested so much today. Because they want to see how loyal they are. And I would do the same thing to an employee. I want to see loyalty. If you ask me one thing I look for in employees, loyalty. Everybody's there when things are good. But let's see what happens. What does this guy do when we have chaos? Is he loyal to me or not? Through those dark times, that's when I reward the employee when things are better. And it's the same thing, this mirror spirituality. Hashem will not reveal to you until you serve Him with simplicity, with an aspect of not knowing anything. What do you know? What do you know? We're in the middle of a movie. We get stuck in these traumas, we get stuck in these problems in our life because we think we know. What do we know? The more you recognize you don't know anything. We don't know anything. And we're not supposed to be. Powerless is really power. When a person says, I'm powerless, that he's really powerful. Powerless is powerful. Why is powerless powerful? Because you're recognizing you don't have to. You're recognizing that there's a greater God than you. You're satisfied knowing that you're not going to be satisfied all the time. That is really acceptance. And when you have acceptance, everything changes. Everything changes in your life across the board. Everything changes. Like we said before, there's a time to figure things out, and there's a time to just accept with simplicity. Reb Nachman only spoke about one thing. Serve me with simplicity. Like a child speaking to his father. That's it. He didn't speak about kavanot, meditate on this, meditate on that. He wants a person's heart. That has been the key to, thank God, to the success that I've had today. Is nothing more but simplicity. Super, super simple. Even the classes. Simple. Simple information. Once we complicate things, that's where all the problems begin. That's where the kushot begin. That's where we get ahead of ourselves. The complications. We become heartaholics. Nachman says in lesson 86, he says, the less faith you have, the harder your life is going to be. Everything is going to be difficult for you. Why? Because you don't really believe simple things will work. I tell people, listen, read this Tikkun HaKlali, and it's going to help you think differently. What do you mean? I need to go to a psychotherapist. I need to do this. I need to take this medicine. I need to do that. I need to do that. Yes, but this is the start of it. Believing in simplicity. When I read Reb Nachman's Tikkun, this is the problem for this. Okay, let me say it. How do I know it works? Who do you know that has it work? Do you have any references? Who's going to give you references for Reb Nachman today? They'll tell you you're mishugat. The more breasted you get, the more the world will tell you you're out of your mind. Many places have said, no, he can't come to this country. He's breasted. We don't believe in this kind of stuff. What do you believe? Believe in simplicity? Believe in simple faith? That's what Nachman says. Serve you with simple faith. Once you serve him with simple faith, it's very easy for you to get back up very quickly. Once you serve Hashem with simple faith, you don't really over-question things. You let things go. Somebody insults you, you let it go. But the more complicated you are, the more things you take personal. The more you get upset. The less things you accept. The more miserable you become. Doesn't mean to become weak. It means recognizing that not everything that happens to you is about you. That sometimes you have to go through things in life and it has nothing to do with you. Just like Yosef HaTzadik. What did he say? Very simple. He says, don't think that I was sold here in Egypt. I was sent here. Wow. Let's talk about being sold by an Arab. Let's talk about going to jail. Let's talk about the 4 or 5 traumas that he had. He just said, this is all part of the master plan. And his salvation came from being happy in that process. Can you imagine going through something and having a smile on your face? You know what kind of level that is? And that's what salvation came from. He recognized, he found meaning, and he recognizing this is part of my process, this is what I have to go through. And he just did it simple. And he was able to get out. Just like that. It seems so crazy to just, we don't want to just accept and let go. I'd rather hold on to something. And that's where our issues are. Remember, we're getting to Rosh Hashanah soon. Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year. And the ultimate part of Rosh Hashanah is one thing. You're doing one thing on Rosh Hashanah, is crowning your Creator. That's it. You're not praying for anything. You're crowning your Creator. You're basically saying that everything that's happening in your life is absolutely perfect. That's crowning your Creator. But what happens is, when you leave synagogue, you have a different whole story. It's very important to read what you read. I'm crowning my Creator, then I have to believe what I'm reading. Otherwise, the heart's not there. The heart's not there. Then you're not really believing that you're crowning your Creator. Then the person shouldn't walk around. That means he's not feeling the words. We'll take this book from the Garden of Knowledge, and Rav Nachman says it perfectly. Where does this mentality come from? The Gemara says in Gemara Brachot that there are 2 kinds of people in this world. There are some people that they're a guest in this world, and anything they get in this world is a gift. But there's other types of people that says, well, he was cooking anyway, he wasn't doing it for me. I'm expected to have this. I'm expected to have this. I'm expected. This is what I'm expected. There's no gift here. Where did this problem start? The problem started with who? It started with Cain and Abel. Where did it start? Cain made no effort to make, when his sacrifice was flax. Very cheap sacrifice. Rabbi Rush says something very beautiful. The word kinyan means to acquire. Expectations. I'm expected to have this. Sometimes I see people are not getting, I've tried to set a lot of people up, and I promise you, this is like a Lego. Here's a Lego, just put it in the thing. I don't like his personality. Okay. He's too yeshivish for me. He said, what do you think? That person's never going to change? You think you're going to get, just because you marry somebody, it's going to be guaranteed this? It's going to be a red Lego his whole life? You could marry a red Lego and it's going to end up becoming purple at the end of the day. What do you think? You're guaranteed that thing doesn't change? I don't like this. And I promise you these were tailor-made shidduchim. Tailor-made. I was shocked. I said, I'm out of this business. I'm out. I can't deal with unreasonable people. The mindset is to be open-minded. You're going to get surprised anyway in life. What do you think? You're going to get whatever you think you got. Nobody's going to change. People change in life. And you have to be comfortable with the changes. Just because you buy this doesn't mean it's going to stay like this. Knowing that is already knowing, listen, it's good enough. I'm happy. It's good enough for me. But once we start becoming perfectionists, we get what? Nothing. You have to be a good enoughness in life. It's good enough. I'm happy. It's good enough. We don't want to look for perfection, because what happens if we look for too much perfection, especially when we're not perfect, it's not going to work. So that's what the problem is today. Specifically, the issues that we have to be more open-minded. And many times, like I've said, I've seen where Hashem plays a joke on people. The friend that he went out with that didn't want to go out with on a date, set him up for the marriage. How many times is the blessing coming from a mistake? How many businesses have come from blessings from complete mistakes? This week, Baruch Hashem, I got amazing employees. I didn't get them from I got it from a company closing down overnight. This is the way blessings are coming down today. It's coming to you to recognize how much you don't know anything. That's how blessings come today. It comes to you to recognize, don't think it's you. Stop thinking it's you all the time. Bittul yourself. Stop thinking it's you. Believe me, I learned the hard way. Because what happens, we think it's us. We think it's us. We're controlling everything. No, you just have to be in a position to win. This whole week, I was fighting for the right employees. I was begging Hashem. And one day, 10 employees in one day available like that. How did that happen? In a blink of an eye, just like that. So the person has to understand. He has no control of nothing. So the word kinyan means, the word kinyan was arrogance. He's thinking, what do I need to make an effort? What do I need to make an effort? He's saying, what does God already need? What does he need my prayers for? What do I need to make an effort? Where Hevel considered him opposite. Hevel is the concept of powerlessness. Hevel. Kain is, I'm entitled to everything. Hevel is the concept of, I know nothing. He didn't know nothing, he came with the best offering. So what happens? He's saying here, the reason why Cain brought that is because he thought that he was entitled to everything in the world. He's entitled. What do I need to do this for Hashem? What did Hashem do for me lately? How many times you speak to people? What did God do for you lately? Why do I need to pray? What did he do for me lately? What is he doing for me? What has he done for me lately? That's the problem. We walk around like entitled guests. And when things don't go our way right away, we're mimicking Cain. Why do I need to put effort into prayer? Why do I need to put my effort into recovery? Look at the world he gave me. Look at the lemon I got. Look at the problem I got. Look at the situation I got. So we walk around saying, I don't have to do much. And that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because he not only is he going to do that, but he's going to eventually say, God made a mistake. Now I don't understand how my neighbor's successful and he's successful. See the problem here? First, you don't stay in your lane. Then you start saying, not only did you miss me, but then you miscalculated this guy. You miscalculated that guy. See the problem? We're walking around like guests thinking, I'm entitled to everything. I'm entitled to everything. And this is when a person starts looking at that. Cain did not want to have anything to do with his creator. He just wanted to leave me alone. Don't bother me, I won't bother you. Do we know people like that? Yes. When you don't have hunger in life, you're basically saying, don't bother me, I won't bother you. Because I should have gotten something already. That belief system is a problem. Because that belief system is going to lead you to a tremendous amount of Gaga, arrogance. And this is what the Zohar says. Cain was born after Eve injected with the snake's spiritual venom. In essence, that's how arrogance was made. Because what happens, Adam and Eve, they sought kavod, they sought honor. Right? We know man's biggest test today is his eyes. Woman's biggest test is honor. Right? Maybe if you get one woman to say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. Because it's against her kavod. It's against her kavod. A man can say, I'm sorry 1,000 times. But for a woman, it's very hard. It's harder. It's like telling a guy, don't look. You can't. You can't do it. It's like, you can't. It's the struggle for them is honor. Acceptance, forgiving, not suppressing, not holding grudges, resentment. That is more of a struggle for women than it is for man. Man's more struggle is his eyes and his desires. Just like you don't see too many promiscuous women looking around all over the place, like Wimbledon. But with men, you do see that. That's how you were made. That's how you were made. You need to understand what your struggle is in this world. You need to understand. These classes are very raw, and that's the bottom line. We're not going to quote the thing. Your success as a woman could be in saying, I'm sorry, I forgive you. I'm sorry. That little thing, the resentment could be open up gates and doors for you. Forgive your parents, forgive your mother-in-law, forgive everybody. That's kavod. That's kavod. My kavod was affected. That's the Yetzer Hara for them. So Eve's whole issue, the whole problem with Eve, that's why she had to go to the mikvah. Because she separated herself from God. So what happens? Because you try to separate yourself from God, now you have to go to the mikvah every 30 days to humble yourself. So that's her tikkun. When she goes into the mikvah, she becomes permitted back. This is straight out of Bereshit. This is not my chidush, by the way. This is out of Rabbi Rush. People can tell me, you have to know what your struggle is in life. And once you know your struggle, just like you call Uber. Where are you? I don't know. You got to know where you are to know what to change. You have to know where you are in life. The person has to know where he is, and he has to know what his struggle is in life. If he doesn't know what his struggle is in life, how are you going to fix it? Imagine the guy calling you an Uber. I don't know where I am. So what do you want from me? How can you change? How can you get better if you don't know where you are? If you don't know what your weakness is? That's what we're not supposed to overcome everything. We're supposed to ask for help. Because the Gemara says, in very simple, you have no shot against fixing any attribute you have. Whether it's gambling, addictions, eat kavod, honor, food, unless your Creator helps you. Bottom line. That's the only shot. Until you make yourself powerless. Until you say, I have no power. It's only from you. That's what he says. So once you come to that recognition, you recognize, what do I know? I can forgive everybody. I can have no problem getting through quickly. But if I don't think that way, here comes the grudges. The only antidote or the venom of arrogance is awareness that everything belongs to Hashem, and a person really he deserves nothing. Even a button on his shirt is blessing. When you walk around with gratitude, you're in your conscious mind. Every other negative thought we have is what? Subconscious. Look what that person did to me. I can't see that. Look what that one did. Look at this one. How could he have done this to me? All this resentment, all of this anxiety, all this grief, all this negative emotions, it's all rooted in a form of lack of emunah. Every negative emotion today that we have, you can have it for a little bit. You're a human being, but when you dwell on it a lot, what happens when a person's choleh, when a person's sick? What's happening? That means part of his body is missing light, missing God's light. If I'm 100% healthy, I have 100% light in my life. I'm healthy. I have God's in my life. God's my energy. But a part of your life, part of your body that's missing, that's sick, choleh, it's because there's missing light in that light. We can take it very practical. Grief, anxiety, all of these things, it's not allowing your Creator to come in. That's what we have to recognize, that every single problem is a spiritual problem. It's a lack of letting the Creator's light inside of us. Whether it could be because our ego is not accepting this, or lack of acceptance, or lack of gratitude, or being resentful that life is not giving us this way. And you know how you get blessing in life? When you show appreciation. Whatever appreciates. The more gratitude in life you show, and recognizing that I'm here as a guest in this world, whatever I get as a gift, somehow you're going to get more gifts and more opportunities. But the more you're saying, here, I'm not getting this, this is the kind. What did you do for me lately? Why do I need to put an effort into prayer? What do I need to do this? Remember, we need to remind ourselves this a lot. I can be, Baruch Hashem, I have many blessings in my life, but I could come home at 5 o'clock, be upset. It's normal, you're a human being. But at 5:15, I'm out of that state. I said, whoa, why am I feeling this? What am I focusing on? Okay, I'm focusing on this. Turn the expectation to appreciation. We can't come into this world as a person thinking he's entitled because you're copying Kayin. And the opposite is Hevel. Hevel is what? It's a gift. Everything's a gift. Hevel, I'm Hevel. Hevel is nothing. And this says very simple, that when a person starts to recognize that when he's nothing and he's recognizing everything's a gift, it's very easy for him to show gratitude. It's very easy to express gratitude. But when a person says, when I tell a person, you should try 10-day gratitude journal, 40-day gratitude. What am I going to say thank you for? Then we have a problem with perception. Then we have a problem the way you're looking at the world. And that person, you really can't help him yet, because his perception is, look what's missing in my life. And this is our job in this before Elul. When you get to Rosh Hashanah, just pretend you're a guest in this world. Pretend that everything you get is a gift. Pretend everything is a gift. You get a date, it's a gift. If it works out, wonderful. Then you stop living with these crazy expectations. You turn your expectations into appreciation. And then major shifts happen in your life. You start focusing on the good that you have in your life, and guess what? It doubles, it triples, and you're going to say, until you have enough. The word al belidai is Hashem should bless you until you say enough. There's so much blessing in this world. That's how we have to think. That's how we have to prepare ourselves. Gratitude breaks everything. That's why our sages say, a person's tears can do what? A person's tears can open gates. But gratitude, when a person prays with joy, there's no gates anymore. There's no need for an opening. It breaks gates. So may Hashem help us that we should walk into Rosh Hashanah with tremendous gratitude. First, by recognizing that we are guests in this world. Until you recognize you're a guest in this world and you don't know anything, things are not going to get better. They're going to become bitter. So we make this switch today. All right, that's today's class.